Hi, happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for coming by Lakeside Quiltmaking Arts. My name is Dawn. I'm known on this channel as Dawn at the Lake because I live at the lake. And this is where I am exploring all things about the art of quiltmaking, hence the name. However, since I'm a newbie, sometimes I think I should have named this channel The Vulnerable Quilter because this is all that's happening. I'm making mistake after mistake and I'm sharing them with you guys. And that takes some vulnerability. It takes some setting the ego aside to do that. I want to just show you guys, look at this beautiful thing I made. And you guys go, oh, yay, I want to make that too. But that's not the entirety of the quilt making process or anything. So, as you saw in the video that we did, which one was it? Sunday, the Slow Stitching Sunday, which is when I'm doing my hand stitching for the Quilt Show's block of the month. I had two big blunders on one block. I had a ruffled side swoop that I had stitched on, and then I had a swoop that didn't meet at the ends. I don't know where my error was on either one of them, and that's kind of disappointing. I'm going to have to deconstruct both and put them back on, or well, the blue one is obviously stretched. I'll have to just replace that one. But the red one that doesn't go all the way to the end, I'm just going to have to take it apart and then measure it up to the others and see if I made some kind of mistake when I cut that piece of fabric. Did I make a mistake? I don't know. I really don't know. Since today is Tuesday, we know that what we're going to be doing today is called the Tech Talk Tuesday. I'm all about alliterations. Every day has one of them, and on Tuesday it is Tech Talk. I have a couple of things here on my notes for us to talk about. Oh, I didn't bring it with me. Let me go get it real quick. This is it. This is what I wanted to show you. I heard Kimberly Jolly talk about her seam ripper. She said she had the white Clover, and I've seen her just when she's had to use a seam ripper. She uses, I think, a 1.5 stitch, and I'm using a 1.8, which is pretty tiny. So 1.5, there's just no way I'm going to do that myself. That's just not kind. But knowing that she does like a 1.5 and at the most a 1.8, and to see how she just whips right through whenever she's unstitching something, I thought I got to get a white Clover seam ripper. I did, and it does make a difference. That point is a lot sharper, a lot finer point, so it's able to dig down underneath the thread a lot without tearing up your fabric. It does make a big difference. I got to enjoy this thing last night when I was making my Moda Block 7 for their quilt along, for their Blockheads 5 Group 2 quilt along, because I put 3 of my units on backwards. Not completely backwards, 2 were backwards, and 1 was sideways backwards. If that makes sense. Okay, so do you have a seam ripper that is better than this? Don't be shy. Tell us all about it. But if you're not using this white Clover and you're complaining about how difficult it is to rip out your seams, your stitches, then give this a try. That should be worth the money. I forget what it cost. I think it was under $10, but it was worth it last night alone. I didn't realize there'd be a difference. I really didn't think there'd be that much of a difference. It's just thinner and a sharper point. It's not blunt. And I found it helpful as I laid it down on the fabric and kind of more parallel instead of perpendicular. Instead of trying to dig under it, I kind of slid under it from the side. It worked. It did. Speaking of things working, I just touched it now. I've got my mic on, and if you've been around this channel at any length of period at all, you know that this mic and I have been going round and around. It gets staticky without any cause for it. I used to originally, when it was happening, I thought that it was scraping, my hand or my hair or the jacket was scraping. But I think now what was going on, because one of the times whenever it was giving me some static and you guys were having to listen to it, it was, there was no way you could see visually on the video, nothing was touching it. So what was causing the static? So I did a little bit of research, and I think it was doing it because of interference on the phone. So I'm giving it a try in this video. If it doesn't turn out well, I may have to just, can it and start all over, but it won't be a lengthy video production that I am canning. So I thought I'd give it a try. What I did is I put my phone on airplane mode, so the phone itself won't have any interference. Now I've got my computer up. Maybe it's going to be interfering. I don't know. I hope not. Maybe I should test this before I go much further. Or I can live on the wild side. Let me just check it real quick. Okay, I did. I just checked it. The sound sounds good so far. Hopefully it will stay that way. But I don't know what my Mac here is doing, my MacBook Air. So I'm disconnecting it. You can't even see it, can you? I've got my MacBook laptop right here in front of me because my notes are on it. As things come to me, I put it in my phone and my notes, and then of course it populates on my laptop. So one of the things I wanted to tell you was that there was a very good video by Mary B, and it's about 1/4 inch seams versus Scant. Let me pull this up real quick. So it's Mary, Mary B, just the letter B. And I'll put this in the description. So the name of it is Why You Should, in capital letters, Never. So Scant 1/4 inch seams. It was a very good, it wasn't just a rant. It wasn't like, complaining or anything like that. It was actually a very healthy conversation. So if you've ever been in a position of wondering about that, I highly suggest you go and take a look at her video. Give her a subscribe over there and a like and some comments to help her out too. She's at 15.9 subscribers. Good for her. What was something else? Oh, someone gave me an idea on my templates when I was making holes. Then I was burning holes. They gave me the idea that you should maybe, instead of the corn holder that I was using, that an ice pick. If you've got an ice pick in your kitchen or something like that, that would probably work really well. Different size nails you might have laying around too, but you want something that it's going to have a longer shaft to it, so that and that it's probably tapered, so that the further you push up, the wider it goes, and also having just a one single point of contact. The corn holder that I was using had 2 points of contact, so it was really kind of impossible to get it to do any further up than what I was able to do. So now that I've given you the caveat about the microphone, we've talked about the ice pick, we've talked about the seam ripper. One of the things that we've been kind of keeping tabs on is that I have bought eQuilter, EQ8, and today I'm going to spend a minimum of 30 minutes on my first class on that. It's sitting right here. I cannot walk away or come back to this this countertop without noticing that I've got this book open. So I will be doing this, and it's already pulled up on my computer. I really want to learn EQ8. It's a very powerful tool. There's a lot you can do with it, clearly, and it really speaks to me. So you're my accountability partner. I'm going to make sure I learn some. And the first thing it tells me I'm going to be learning, Chapter 1, learning the EQ8 basics. Basics of the quilt work table, basics of the block work table, and basics of the image work table. So chapter 1 is 64 pages. That's very doable. How many chapters are there in here? There are 3 chapters, and it's only 128 pages with the index. I think this is doable. All kinds of people learn how to do this. Surely I can learn how to do this too. Yesterday I was coloring for the block I was making for the Motive Fabrics Blockheads Group 2 Block 7. And, it's just real cryptic if you're using not crayons, you're using colored pencils, and you're kind of trying to emulate your fabrics that you plan to use. But there's a lot of room for misinterpreting on paper with your colored pencils what your fabrics will actually do. So with this, I'm able to take pictures of my fabric and put it up, and then I can color it that way. I can't wait to be able to do something like that and it be second nature. right now, as I have said a zillion different times, I am drinking from a fire hydrant through a straw. I've got so much I'm trying to learn, and it's great. I love learning. I used to say if I could figure out how to get paid for learning, then sign me up. I guess YouTube is kind of that, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to do this channel so I can make a living off of YouTube, and I am learning, and that's my whole gig of this channel, right? Is I am a newbie trying to learn, and I'm inviting other newbies and other experienced people into this journey so we can all help each other. So when I get done with that one book, I do have the next book. I think I showed you this already, EQ8 Designing More Quilts. So when I graduate from the beginning one, I have somewhere to move up to. I want to show you something that my friend who took me to Charleston last week gave me, and that is Quilting Studio. I did not know that this existed. This is really something I should be doing on the Friday video, but this past Friday's video, I was kind of struggling because we got home at 10:30, and then I shot and edited and published that video. I forgot a lot of things. I was literally falling asleep while I was doing it. But I didn't want to mess with the schedule, and I wanted to make a point of contact with you guys. There was something in here I wanted to show you. There's something in particular. Give me just a moment. So there's so much inspiration in this book. This lady, artwork by Claire Passmore, interview by Danielle Williams. So this is just a close-up on part of her work. It's a sculpture. You can see it's the long sculpture. Let me see the dimensions on that. 24 by 60 by 3 inches. So it's dimensional. It's not flat at all. This whole book is full of really inspiring art. And this is the kind of thing I want to start doing on our Thursdays. I call Thursday our Thursday therapy, because that's when we're really trying to exercise our creativity muscle. And of course, I'm working on the Mars quilt right now, so I won't be able to dive in deep on things like this anytime soon. However, this Thursday, do stay tuned, because I will be doing something a little bit different on Thursday. I'm going to start a miniature quilt that I'm going to be giving to my grandbaby for her 5th birthday. For her, she's going to know it as a unicorn blanket, because she's got all these unicorns instead of baby dolls and bears and whatever. She's got unicorns. And so I'm going to do some thread painting on a little patchwork that I'm doing for her. So I will do that for the next week or two on Thursdays, because her birthday's coming up, and I don't want to not do it for her birthday and prioritize the Mars quilt. I hate to put the Mars quilt off any, I really do, but I really want her to have handmade gifts from me instead of store-bought anything. So that's what's going to be happening. So as I can, I'll dip my toes into the more really creative off-roading things of quilt making. So there's some other things I want to talk to you about before I talk to you about the actual block for the quilt of the month, pick a petal for the quilt show. I want to show you some things I put in my kit that I bet you not a one of you have in your kit, but you all probably need it, especially if you have any arthritis, any inflammation, any aches or pains. I highly, highly, highly recommend, and it doesn't have to be this particular brand, but this wand. This is a red light therapy. Top one choice. My occupational therapist sold, well, she didn't sell this to me, but she sold me on it when she used it for me in November on my wrists and on my thumbs. My wrists and thumbs had been hurting since like September when I went in there, and I left there with that pain almost gone. So I bought one on the spot. I could feel the healing while I was in there. So what it does is it's going to lower your inflammation. It's going to be working on, it's a regenerative kind of medicine. It's going to be helping your cells. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical therapist, but I am a patient of physical therapy, lifelong patient of physical therapy. I have a lot of aches and pains. I have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Causes me a lot of grief, a lot of issues besides what you might think of There's a lot that goes along with a connective tissue disorder. But one of the ways that I can address it is through this. If I use this on my neck, on my ears, I use it on my lumbar, and it's a 20-minute session each time, and it helps. So use this on your wrists, use it on your thumbs, all around, and it's going to help you, I promise you. And so if you're doing any slow stitching, you really need one. I keep my cord for it in a Ziploc, and I keep it together. So it went traveling with me. I didn't use it because I didn't do much stitching, so my hands were pretty much fine. And we weren't in the hotel very long either. So something else I take with me, and I keep handy, and I keep one hanging off my stairs. And all of us who are doing any kind of work leaning over, either you're projecting your head out on your computer or on your sewing machine or bending over your cutting table, you need to counter those movements. So you get some of these bands, and this is one of the lightest ones, I believe. There may be a lighter one, I'm not sure. You get some of these isometric bands. You can get them from Amazon. Hook them on a knob. You put that on a doorknob and close the door, and you can pull on it. You can do different things. You don't have to do big exercises. Isometric exercises just help to engage the muscles. You just kind of, I don't know how familiar you are with isometric exercises, but they feel like if you've ever been a gym rat and you're expecting to use a lot of force and to move weights over a distance, it takes you a minute to get used to isometric exercises. But they're used left and right to help stabilize the body, to help stabilize the muscles. All you have to do is engage those muscles. So I highly, 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 I can't say it enough. You will probably hear this from me over the years. Ever how long this YouTube channel lasts, I'll be bringing this up because this is part of my mainstay of my life, and it makes a big difference. I highly recommend you go to YouTube and look up some isometric exercises, do some Googling, get some of these. You can't hurt yourself. You can hurt yourself, but you're going to feel any discomfort and then you stop, right? So those are the two things that I thought would not be in anybody's travel kit, but it should be in your studio. It should be part of your mainstay. So I think that's it for this Tuesday Tech Talk. If you have anything that you want us to address that's technical that I have overlooked, then please point me in that direction. Oh, one update. I did tell you guys in one of my last few videos that I had gotten a chair for $10 off of Facebook Marketplace. I was so excited because I need a chair with wheels at my sewing machine. My friend was going to go pick it up for me because it was in her town, which is an hour from here. She was going to go pick it up, but the owner sent me a message at the last minute, and she said that when she had inspected it and put it on Facebook Marketplace, that it was going up and down, but since then it had stopped doing that, so she didn't sell it to me. So I lost out on that deal, which is good because the height adjustment is something that I would want. So now I'm going to have to buy a chair. But I am buying other things first. I would like to have an iron too, that it gets hotter and does not have a cord. I need some storage and, all the things. Always something. Just like everything else, we just have to pace these things out. And none of it keeps me from chugging along like I am. So I'm really not complaining. I like immediate gratification, but I'm not complaining. I'm going to call this video done. Send you on your day so you can get back to all the wonderful things that you're up to. I really appreciate you spending time with me and being here on this journey with me. And those of you who have been helping me, guiding me, and talking to me through the comments, thank you. Thank you so very much. I really, really appreciate it. It helps me to feel connected to people instead of just a camera that I'm talking to, right? So I feel a little bit less crazy by talking to people who aren't there in the middle of my kitchen or in the middle of my studio. And that's it, my friends. I'm going to send you on your way, and I'm going to dive into my EQ8. 30 minutes, that's what I'm going to spend, minimum 30 minutes doing my EQ8. I can find 30 minutes in my day, right? What is it that you can spend 30 minutes doing today that you've been putting off? I hope you enjoy your day. whatever it is. Thank you for being here, subscribing, liking, commenting, all the things. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being part of this community and helping me to make a community. It means the world to me. I really do appreciate it. It feels exciting. It feels like we're starting something really cool. And if I have to be vulnerable to make that happen, then alrighty, I'll be vulnerable all day long because I'm learning, and that's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose of life and what I'm doing here. I want to learn. You guys, even if you're beginners, you have tips for me too. Thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.